All right, well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Great O'Clock. It is that time of day again. It is Monday, September the 28th. We are live and sitting here. It's going great, Mario. It's going great. I am Gerald DuBose, and we are going to be talking about tonight, has social media killed offline marketing? So this is going to be a very interesting topic. If you all could, I see Mario has already told a little bird, you can click the little blue button sitting over there to your left. Please. And that will invite some people in here and let them know this conversation is going on. So, Anthony, why don't you introduce yourself to the good people so that they know who you are and what we're doing?
Yeah, so Anthony Vaughn, owner and founder of Creation International. We do about three different things. First thing that we do is we do culture development and personal development for network marketing teams and kind of get them in order. We do the exact same thing for small, medium, and large organizations. And then finally, we do startup companies. We help them develop their culture and help them get, acclimated into the entrepreneurial world. So that's what I do.
Awesome. And I am Gerald DuBose. My company is the New Wealth Order. We help businesses cultivate a winning culture and develop and implement value-driven sales and marketing strategies to increase profitability. That's who I am. That's what we do. And our conversation tonight, as I said, will be very interesting. It's something that we were talking about. Has social media killed offline marketing? Pretty interesting thing when you think about it. In this day and age, we are in the social media age, right? So everybody talks about social media and how important it is. So we thought that we should have a discussion about it and how it plays a role in, how everything is perceived and how you go about your business, especially in the marketing world. So, Anthony, what are your feelings about that? Let's just kick the conversation off.
Yeah. I just want to make, I guess the very clear statement that if your bottom line goal, right, financially, because marketing, there's some different avenues and reasons to market, but let's talk about financially for a moment. If financially your bottom line goal is to be incredibly successful, in my opinion, bottom line, social media is where you need to be. Online marketing is where you need to be. I really feel like the data shows for itself that offline marketing is not as impactful as it once was if, again, reaching a massive amount of income in your business is your overall bottom line goal. So again, social media marketing is really where I feel like it needs to be.
Okay, cool. Well, that's an interesting perspective because there are some people that have done and built really successful businesses already that have not really ventured heavily into the social media arena as of yet. And I believe that they both are necessary. I would say that if you are trying to increase your brand, then obviously you want to look at social media and utilizing it, of course, to help increase awareness and things of that nature. But if you cannot ignore one or the other. Now, if you're a larger corporation, as I said, when you think about like Fortune 100s and things like that, Pepsi could care less about how much money they're spending on social media. They invest a little bit in it, but they have a built-in marketing system that has worked for them to continue their growth over the last 10 to 12 years. So I believe it's important if you're a smaller business, especially. I don't think it can be ignored totally, whether you're large or small. So
I definitely feel, and I'm just going to reply here to the small business. Again, I'm very big on the statement that I made before. If you want to get to the level of a Pepsi or I'm sorry, not Pepsi. If you want to get to the level of, did you say IB? What company did you just say? I'm sorry, Joe.
I said Pepsi.
Yeah, Pepsi, right? Yeah, if you want to get to the level of Pepsi, you want to get to the level of an IBM we talked about before. If you want to get to a pretty major level, I understand that some people have built corporations and businesses maybe back in the 90s, right? The early 2000s, the 80s. And again, offline marketing was extremely successful. But if you want to have a high conversion rate and you want people, the right people, qualified people to actually see your content, again, I'm 100%, very, very adamant on social media marketing. I feel like a lot of businesses have shown, the data proves that people that have strictly gone on social media marketing and not done any offline marketing have built ridiculously huge businesses in half the time than some of the older traditional organizations and how they did their offline marketing. So again, I just know we have different viewpoints, but I definitely would like to feel, if your goal is to be, major organization, a big organization, I definitely feel that, social media marketing is the way to go. Moving on to 2016 and moving forward.
Right. Now the thing I would say to that is that they've grown, but they're not in the Fortune 100. You got to look at some of these companies, and depending again on the business, as we talked about before, and even Mario just said that. Hey, Sydney, how are you? Welcome. It depends on you. It depends on the market, depends on your business and what platforms you want to utilize. But what I'm saying is it's kind of, one doesn't exist without the other. If all you do is online marketing, you're hurting your business. If all you do is social media marketing, you're hurting your business. I don't care what you do. You have to have some form. I'm being honest. Even technology companies, heck, Google has meetups and things like that where they send out mailers to very specific people that they want to come to their things. So you have to have both, I believe. For larger, more established companies, like I said, they did build their business through traditional marketing. Now you're never going to go to a Pepsi and tell them, hey man, you should run way more Google ads. That'll be better for you. And they're going to look at you like you're insane. The fact is that they've made their money using like Super Bowl commercials, radio and television and newspaper ads for so long. You have to look at the brands. You're looking at, even direct mail is still being used for a lot of businesses, right? So you have to look at the brand, what you're doing, who their client is. When have you seen Bergdorf Goodman run a Facebook ad?
Well, here, hold on, Najee. Here's what I tell you. I feel like let's go to IBM, the one you just mentioned, and Pepsi, right? I think that, right, over the past probably 30 years, they built a substantial brand. And I talk about this a lot with my network marketers, and I'll give you a very clear example. There's a guy by the name of Alex Morton, $1 million earner. He doesn't have to speak over the next maybe 2 years, and he can have a consistent business. And Pepsi's in that same. They don't have to do any marketing. Think about it. Pepsi is that substantial. They just put the product out. People will go nuts, no matter what it is. So again, I'll go back to the conversion rate. I would love to really get pinpoint on the numbers of what are they really converting from those ads on the Super Bowl? What are they really converting from the commercials? What are IBM really converting? What is all these major companies? What is the true conversion rate? And I would have to say, according to the data of what we're seeing nowadays, it's really not substantial. And just to kind of just throw, what you were talking about, $80 billion, right, is spent every year in TV ads and in commercials and things of that nature, with a push of a button on social media. I'm not going to say you can do those type of numbers, but you can definitely, again, reach a very substantial, mass as far as income wise, just by pressing a button, opposed to having 4 days of production and, lighting and all those different things. So, just kind of touch on that. What you think of the conversion rate from someone watching a commercial on Super Bowl opposed to someone having an ad that's driven directly towards one of their needs?
Okay, well, here's what I'll say. When you do television and radio ads, they are targeted just the same. You run radio ads where your demographic is. If you are, for example, a financial planner or something, you wouldn't run that ad on an urban hip hop station. You would run that more on an AM information station where they talk about finances and stuff. Because why? That's where your people hang out. And those ads convert at about 10 to 15%, the same rate at about what you would convert on a social media. Now, the thing is, if you're talking about a Super Bowl ad, you're reaching 100 million people in all different types of countries. So that's what I'm saying. You couldn't talk to Pepsi and say it's better for you to run a Facebook ad than run that Super Bowl ad. That doesn't make sense to them. they would never forsake that exposure, because even if they don't remember, that's why they make the ads funny and memorable. So that way, when they think about it, they're like, oh man, I remember that crazy guy dancing. So,
you're right.
And it drives the traffic, and it's been successful for them. They've made millions and millions and millions of dollars doing that. So they're not going to think social media, you're not going to pigeonhole them and say, look, kill all that advertising. It's more effective to do it this way. No, they're not going to listen. They will hear you to a certain extent, but they aren't going to stop what's been working to just start something completely new and walk away from everything that has built them to what they are today, is what I'm saying.
I'd have to agree with what you were saying as far as it's very comedic, it's very entertaining. We all know this, from our parents to our friends who say, hey, did you check that commercial out, that Pepsi commercial, that Coca-Cola commercial? But again, and let's be very honest here, online, I believe as soon as that the Super Bowl goes to commercial, again, people are going directly on their Instagram, directly on their Facebook, directly on their Pinterest, and they're looking at, what are people talking about, right? And so, again, I would definitely have to say that, then obviously Pepsi would ignore everything I'm saying. They would smack me with $1 billion, right? They would ignore everything I'm saying. But again, I definitely feel like they're getting most of the success based off of their past success.
Right. And now you just made the point that they would make. Why would I invest if I'm Pepsi, if I'm IBM, if I'm Bergdorf Goodman, when I put out these special ads and things? Everybody's going to run to social media and talk about it anyway. Did you see the Pepsi commercial? What does it do for me to start spending my money on an ad there when I know that 100 million people saw this? 10,000, 100,000 people are going to tweet it. Another 10,000 are going to retweet it. Why would I spend my money there if I'm getting that advertisement for free already?
Make a good point. I guess the only point I can make financially, and I know they probably don't care, but any business owner should care to some degree. Financially, you're gonna spend substantially less money online. You know that. They're spending. Would you say the average is what, 1.3 for a commercial for just a spot?
No, last year it was like 2.5 million for an ad,
including production and actors and any of that. Substantially going to spend a lot less money. I think that's the big thing that we can definitely point to, and that's really the driving point of online marketing is the money is a thing that people are really taking notice to.
Right. And I as I said, I would agree for small businesses that are growing. You don't have that $100 million company. You don't have 100. If your revenue is not over $150 million, social media is so very, very, very important. However, these longer established companies that have a huge following, that regardless of what's going on, are going to drive a certain type of numbers. They aren't going to drop what has made them who they are to convert to just social media. Now, again, I will say, if you're new and you're up and coming and you're doing less than, hey, Ms. Here's my girl. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yes. But I was just saying that if you are up and coming, if you're doing less than $10 or $20 million in revenue, then yes, you need social media. You need the awareness. You need people to know who you are. They have to be able to find you. For a Pepsi, for an IBM, for a Rolls Royce, for a Bentley, they could care less. They could give a hoot whether they run a Facebook ad. Are they going to put up Facebook fan pages so you can follow them? Yes. Are they going to put up places that you can find them if you're on social media? Yes. But you aren't going to see Pepsi ad popping up on your Facebook page often. They just don't have they don't feel that need, is what I'm saying. So Gail, welcome.
Thank you. Hey, Anthony.
How you doing?
Doing great. That's my brother's name, so I like you already.
Awesome. Well, I know Gail does a lot of social media stuff, so I know she has a lot to add. She does marketing, period. She's phenomenal, so I know she has something to add to the conversation or just to add. So go ahead, Gail.
Well, I just wanted to share. I totally get what Anthony is saying, but I believe it's like anything else. I think you have to use, as Gerald mentioned, a holistic approach. And it does depend on what your industry is, and it depends on who you're marketing to. So, for instance, if you are marketing to someone who, if you're marketing to like super baby boomers, okay, if you're a pharmaceutical and you're marketing to people who need maybe an arthritis medicine or something where you know that the market is 60, let me not say 60 because that's where I am. So anyway, 65, 70, 80 years old, 9 times out of 10, or it's a really good possibility, they're not on social media. And so you're not going to reach them there. You're going to reach them where they are traditionally accustomed to getting their information, whether it be TV, whether it be newspaper, something like that. And so, but I know you guys were talking about Coca-Cola and Pepsi and large companies. Again, I think Gerald is correct in that they do use social media because trust and believe. If you, just like when they, back in the day, I think it was like in the 90s, they did Coca-Cola decided to come out with a new Coke, okay, and this new brand. It was horrible. And if social media had been out during that time, because people already said they hated it, but that information would have gone around so much faster that this is absolutely horrible. Coca-Cola did get the message and they changed it. And so even if you are a large company, you do still use social media because that is how you stay connected with your audience, with your customers. There are a lot of times, you've got beta testers, so you get a chance to test it out on a certain segment of your market to find out how this is going to appeal to a larger brand before you roll out a bigger market or campaign. So again, like I said, it is used hand in hand, but traditional media from direct sales to advertising to billboards to all of that, I don't believe that will ever totally go away because there's some segments that it works. They know it works, and that is what will continue to work. The social media is just, I believe, is an add-on to that. There are certain segments that it's like you could do social media and blow up, and the other markets may not be quite as much. And then it's the vice versa of that. So that's all. I just don't want to pigeonhole it to say it's gone. You should use social media, let's say 80% of the time, and the other traditional ways of marketing 20%, because that is not true for everybody, every industry across all segments. That's all.
Can I ask you a question, ma'am?
Oh my God, he called me ma'am. Oh.
That's respect, right? Respect, right?
Yeah, I know. But see, here's the thing. Okay, I gotta tell you this. I appreciate that. I really do. But it was like, used to have this thing, and it's still in my head, that you use sir and ma'am to people who are like old enough to be your parents or your grandparents. And so in my head, I forget that that's where I am. Oh my God, I've reached that stage. Okay, I'm done. I'm good.
No, it's okay. So, let me see how I can put this. So I have a question. So who are you marketing to, right? If you are trying to attack, or I shouldn't say attack, or trying to provide a service for, if you have an older people, so I'm trying to remember the name for that, like I'm sorry, what is it? A nursing home.
Okay.
Who are you marketing to?
So in that case, you would probably be marketing to the person's children. So and where they? Say it again.
No, I was just asking you, and then where are they at the most?
Well,
Most
again,
likely.
it depends on how old those children are. So let me give you an example. I have 4 brothers and sisters. I have a brother and 2 sisters. Okay. Let's just say we're all baby boomers. I'll just leave it like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough, of the 4 of us, I am the only one who is on social media. None of the rest of them are. There's no way I could contact any of them through social media if that was my means of getting a hold of them. Okay. And so it freaks them out. A lot of people, a lot of older people, they become afraid. Well, one, they get scared of the privacy or lack thereof that they believe it exists. They think that, all of their information is going to be out there. They don't trust it. They don't want to talk to strangers, things like that. And so if I were marketing to them, I cannot reach them through social media. I mean, they do not tweet. They do not Facebook. I can't even text them. I have to call them. Okay. And so, and I have a number of peers that are the same way.
And
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
No, I was going to say the only reason I asked that is because before the show, I was doing a little bit of research, and it was remarkable what I found. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but there was a company that posed that question to somebody that was really big in the social media world. And they corrected them and said that, the parents would be, or the kids,
the kids or the parents, right?
The one you would be targeting to.
Right.
And most of them were in that 35 to 55-year-old range.
Right.
And according to Facebook and Instagram, which are the 2 most popular ones today, he was saying that a large number of them are actually on that platform, and a lot of people don't realize that. And again, I don't remember the number, right. But they were asking, should I use offline marketing and should I use online marketing? And if growth is what you're looking for and seeking, then he suggested that he hop online and then put more of his focus and energy online opposed to offline, because he was not getting a high conversion rate offline. And that was just very interesting to him. And I just wanted to throw that out there to see what you guys.
Well, my thing to that would be, again, it could be how he's running his campaign, because if you run a bad campaign, it doesn't matter if you're online or offline. It's still going to stink. That's right. As far as the pool of people on Facebook, there are they say by the year 2020, half the planet may be on Facebook. However, how many of them are active in that 35 to 55? Just because they have a page doesn't mean they're active. And you can send them a message there, and it would be like sending them an email to a Yahoo account that they haven't checked in 10 years. So it kind of runs into that thing. It's who are you trying to reach? How is your campaign structured? How are you going to position it? Because it's all about your UPS, your USP, your unique selling position. How are you positioning this so that you can market it, regardless of whether it's online or offline? And as a retirement home, or if he's doing something like that, that's going to really narrow his focus on a Facebook or whatever, because he only gets those people in that area. So, if this campaign sucks, it just sucks. So the first question should have been, what are you doing? How have you structured the campaign? Should have been the first question, not, who are you trying to reach? Because
and the other thing too is, I would also narrow it down or drill it down even further, because this is what I also know. If you have a business that is very visual, then Instagram and Pinterest would very possibly be better than doing Twitter. Okay, let's say, for instance. Now, drill it down even further. Who is your demographic? So, for instance, Pinterest, the people who are on Pinterest far more are female versus male. Now, you can drill it down even further. African Americans and Latinos have a tendency to be on Twitter more than they are on Facebook. So you've got to look at really who are you targeting, and like you said, where do they hang out?
Right.
And for the most part, oftentimes, again, you want to talk about, let's say, go back to your example of the nursing homes or the
retirement homes.
Okay, retirement homes. You know where would be a good place to market? In the doctor's office.
Yep.
Okay. In your financial planner's offices. Because oftentimes that in the dentist's offices, that's where that's one place that a person would want to market. So they would want to get ads in those in the magazines that are hanging out there for those, as you said, those children of those parents, because they're 9 times out of 10, they're taking them to the doctor. They're taking them to the dentist. They're, talking to, like you said, their CPA or financial planner or their tax person. That's where you would want to market to them. Right. And so not necessarily, on one of these platforms.
Right. And Justin had a great comment over here. He said, who is your ideal customer? Right. And where are their eyes and ears, which is what we're talking about. Right. Also, exactly. Where do they enjoy hanging out and communicating? Oh no, right. Where do you enjoy hanging out and communicating? Your vibe will attract your tribe. And right. Exactly. I will agree with that, and that's whether it's social media, whether it's online, whether it's offline marketing. Right. Create a brand presence, and that's what this is all about.
Exactly.
So
hey, Justin.
Hey, thanks for.
How you doing?
Oh, great. I was about to say, great, ma'am.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna be ma'am for the rest of the night.
I'm not gonna live that down. No, I think it's awesome. Thank you for calling out my comment, because actually your guys' title of the blab caught my eye, because I was going to start one kind of similar off a tangent, because I think like in marketing, people, I think the question that I very rarely hear asked too is like, where do you enjoy hanging out? Because it's also like, how do you clarify like what is success? Is it conversions? Is it dollars? But also, if you hate doing the marketing that you do, if it's just like soul sucking, you can always outsource that to someone else who does enjoy that stuff. But like, I enjoy Blab, and I have to say, more and more each day, like even though I still do email, every day I'm just enjoying it less and less, and I'm trying to find ways to circumvent it. And for me, I'm not saying this is for everybody, definitely, but for me, in health and fitness and wellness, people contact me for help getting out of chronic pain symptoms, losing weight, gaining strength. And to me, email actually slows down the rate of which I can help people. This actually, I can help people faster, because communication, right? Any form of communication, marketing, is an exchange of thoughts and ideals. And with email, it's like they talk, and then they have to wait for me to get back, and it's this slow. But if we're like this, we can actually get stuff done.
See, and that's something I would like to address. I mean, even a little further on a different one, which will probably be another topic for a different grade o'clock. But I think that the whole concept of social media, I think this is more, live streaming is more about social relationship than social media. Right. I think even beyond that. So that's a separate thing. But like you said, you can cultivate a relationship that would have maybe taken you 2 years now, in a matter of a few days with live streaming. If somebody jumps on your Periscope and they like your message, and then you bring them over here to the Blab and you talk to them, and they get to see who you are in your natural habitat, unrehearsed here, because you cannot rehearse a Blab. There's nothing you can do to prepare for this. You don't know who's coming through that door. You don't know what they're going to say
over here.
Exactly. So you can't rehearse this. So when they see you in the gun, on the gun line, as I like to say, when people just firing at you and they have questions and they have different opinions than you, how do you behave? What's your reactions? What are your responses? How do you relay your information?
Oh, I love the transparency and the authenticity of live streaming. I absolutely love it. And even before, live streaming's been around, but it's kind of gotten more popular since Periscope and Blab and other things have made it easier for the masses to actually do. They don't have to be so much of a techie. But even before that, just video. And I have nothing against, for those people that love writing. Actually, I can write fairly well. I just have to be in the zone. And because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to writing, it takes me so long, because where some people might be like, oh, that was good. I'm like, yeah, it was good. It wasn't perfect. And I'll edit it like 100 times and just like, but But if I say but or right now, I'm like, whatever. You get what I'm talking about.
Right. So
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anthony. I'm sorry.
That's good. Okay, I just heard you. Yeah, I just wanted to just real quick touch on what Justin was saying about, the motivation and the happiness factor of the way that he likes to market now and how you enjoy Blab, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think that plays a big role in how much you're marketing, because the effectiveness comes into, how much time you're spending making sure that it's detailed and how, how consistent you are with your offline marketing. And if you're losing, your enjoyment of your offline marketing, and you find that online marketing is more endurable, you're going to put much more effort and time, into making sure that it's actually, the way that you want it to be. You're actually going to enjoy it, and the motivation is going to be higher. So I think that's a big thing that I'm going with as far as online versus offline. Offline is very tedious, and it's just not very enjoyable for some people nowadays. And I think that if they can hop online, it can be a lot more enjoyable, and motivation will go up, and creativity will go up, and all that good stuff. So just wanted to touch on that. And I think that was important that Justin said that.
Before I hopped on, what were some of the offline marketing that you were talking about, like ads, billboards, things like that, or network?
No. What we actually were talking. This is just a general question, because it's an interesting topic, because people that usually love social media love it so much that they're like, you can eliminate offline marketing, and they're saying that offline marketing is going to be a dead industry in the next few years. And I just, it's no way I can possibly agree with that with my business background. So
it depends on what it is you're doing. If you have especially a brick and mortar type store where you sell goods and or services and use social media as kind of a fishing line to get people in, you're still going to be building relations with them when they come in your store. Right. Versus now I would still, I always love in person if I can, if the situation, the environment, everything allows for it. But like me, like I do all business online. It's rare, and I do enjoy it. Oh, we lost somebody. He'll
be back.
Rare that I get the opportunity to meet, my clients in person. And when I do, it's great. But the majority of the time, I am communicating with them, virtually. And so, yeah, all my marketing is either through various social media platforms and email still. So it depends on, what are you selling? What line of business are you in?
Right, exactly. And that's pretty much what I was saying. Depending on your business and depending on the size of your business, you take social media heavier or lighter. Again, I said if smaller companies under $50 million harp on social media hard. They have to have it, brand awareness, all that type of stuff. Larger corporations use social media more as a branding tool, more as a thing of, hey, we have a presence. Look, here we are. You're not going to see a Bergdorf Goodman throw 5,000 Twitter ads at you or 5,000 Facebook ads. They don't do that. So,
well, but Gerald, and actually, honestly, I don't see Bergdorf Goodman ads anyway. I mean, unless I'm maybe going through their magazine ads or something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
There are certain companies, as you mentioned, Rolls Royce. I mean, you don't see no Rolls Royce ad. I mean, like I said, unless you're looking through a luxury magazine, but they don't have to. You don't have to advertise. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like
and they advertise to the people that have bought from them. See, so
exactly.
they have a built-in pool, and once you reach a certain status, you'll start getting those letters. I have a friend that whenever a new Bentley comes out, guess what? They get, hey, there's a new Bentley coming out. Why don't you come in for a test ride? Bring one of your friends. Why? Because people with money hang out with people with money. They're not going to worry about spending $200 running 1,000 Facebook ads for what? Because they're throwing their line in the wrong pool. So again, I believe it depends on the nature of your industry, how big your company already is when you start talking about majorly pushing the social media thing. Again, for smaller businesses, I am down. Yes, you should. We all should be in here pushing social media. We should be really hard on using ads and constructing our pages so they look a certain way. making sure our campaigns are consistent across the board, because it's important. None of us are $100 million companies in here. So it's a different thing.
If I was, I wouldn't be here.
Do you guys feel pressure though? Because I know I do, almost like just
Really?
in general. Yes, you feel pressured. I didn't even get to the question, but yes, feel pressured to like be on certain social media platforms, whether you fully understand them, whether you like them. It's just like maybe a social media guru expert was like, hey, you gotta, you have to be on this because this and converting, and it's just like you have to be on it. Does anybody? Maybe it's just.
Well,
I don't.
Go ahead,
I mean, there are so many platforms for me. Okay, there are so many various platforms that I think it is definitely challenged to master all of them. Not only that, I am where my customers or clients are. So it just really, a lot of it depends on what customer or client I happen to be working with. Okay. And so, and I know, I can't remember. I don't know if it was Anthony that mentioned it or if it was you, Justin, that, sometimes if you don't feel good, or if the particular platform, if you're offline marketing, if it's, it's tedious and you don't like it and so on and so forth. Well, see, to me, it's not really about me and whether I like it or not. If I'm working with a client and it's best for me to be mainly doing offline, then that's where I have to go, because I've got to go where their customer is. I can't think about me. This is not about me. But there are so many platforms, and there will be many, many more platforms that come out that, I've oftentimes said to people, you know what, let's look at one or two, maybe three at the most. So like maybe a blog and a couple of social media platforms based on you and your industry and where your people hang out. And let's focus on that. And let's, as Anthony mentioned, let's get some conversions out of that before you start looking at this whole plethora, because, you can do so many that you've got to be where your audience hangs out. It's like, let's go where all of the fish are, and don't worry about all the other lakes and oceans and things like that. Let's go hang out where your fish hang out, and let's go put your net there. And then we go from there.
What?
Do you guys see the question too that was pertaining to that?
Yeah.
By upgrade to me, Darisha.
Yeah. We got a few questions here. Justin, thanks for jumping in, man. We hope you hang out. I want to rotate. There's a couple other people want to.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so let me jump off, because I've been on here for a minute and people might want to come in. So
yeah, I think Darisha's question, the upgrade to me, would be a good one, because I know a lot of people, especially probably smaller business owners, where it's just them or one or two people.
Yeah. That's we're definitely going to address it. We got like 3 questions going here.
Thank you,
Justin. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so Darisha says, I've run into many pay for this and pay for that ads marketing. A lot of people, there are a lot of people that are going to, it's like any other business, honestly. If you're hanging out where a bunch of vendors are, they're always going to tell you they have the solution for you. So that's just the thing. And they're always going to tell you their solution works best. And if you do this, it's going to produce you X result. It's part of the sales pitch. Now, how do you siphon through that is research. The best thing is when you're doing this social media thing, my suggestion would be research the people, research the platform, research what it has done for people. Don't just take their testimonials, because believe me, a testimonial is so easy. You push a button and you can put a picture up there and somebody can say, I made $500,000 with this. So research for yourself, and don't just take the testimonial that's on those sites or on that sales page as gold. Anybody else? Go ahead.
I was actually about to lead something. I was about to lead a question into something around this. So that's good that she mentioned that. My tip would be 100% consistency and all out, just going nuts as far as the consistency amount, the amount of times you're posting. I personally have almost 40,000 followers across all my social media platforms, and that's nothing in the terms of social media. And I've seen some consistent success. And I tell people all the time, those that are jumping from offline to online, that you need to be 100% consistent on all platforms. As long as if your customers are on there, you have to be consistent and you have to go nuts. You know, that's something that I realized. I post 4 times a day. I do target marketing. Like you said, I research. I understand exactly where my people are. I look at my competitors and what they're doing. And again, just consistency, because bottom line, if you're not on social media enough, that could hurt you just as bad as not being on it at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, her question was, though, how do you siphon through everybody's telling you they have the answer for you, right? Yeah. She's saying that she's running into so many pay for this, pay for that, ads and marketing. How does she decide which one works and which one's best?
Well, okay. Well, I guess to answer that question, me personally, I took it. Again, I'll take Jarrell's advice. I personally researched everything. And then after I did that, I took it upon myself to do all of my marketing personally. I didn't go to anyone else until after I built a brand and a name on social media. And then again, that's when I would plug in Jarrell's advice and go through all the different people that are saying they can be effective, and researching and understanding who really can be effective towards your brand. But just organic marketing and really building your brand, for me, worked out very effectively in the beginning stages of my career.
Right.
There's Coach Karen.
Hey,
That makes sense, Anthony.
thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Good to see you as always. And Gail, do you want to answer that question, or what? Give your opinion on that?
I can't remember the question. I was listening to Anthony.
Yeah, it's okay. That's why they have this questions tab.
I know. Yes, I do. How do you discern who is effective?
Right.
You know, for me, I go back to, who are you targeting? Who is your client?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where are they? Because a lot of people, oh my God, they use the word expert and guru too much.
Gotcha.
In my opinion,
both of those words.
You know, everybody's a guru. You know? And I'm like, okay, who is a guru? Who is doing it? You know, as opposed to doing it. You know, and so, I would go back to what Anthony said. I mean, I think that was like totally spot on. You know, which is, you've got to research who are you working with. Not only where they are, but where is their market, okay? And so therefore, quote unquote, the research, and then, you know, as he said, then building up their brand to coincide with their market. And so as you are looking at who is doing what, you know, it would also be a good idea if you have a concept. Depending on the social media platform, if you have an idea of what each platform is good for, that also helps you determine what you're going to do. Because as I mentioned, you know, Pinterest, mainly females are on there, and obviously it's a very visual thing. They're pictures. If you're doing something that if your person is doing something and they don't need a lot of pictures, that may not be where they should be. So you should really have a good idea. Oh, same thing, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is geared for the professional. You know, that's who that market is for. So if you have an idea of what each platform is good for, then that also helps you determine, when somebody is telling you something, if they are really on the right track or whether they are just blowing smoke, you know, or something. So that's a part of your research to determine what do the platforms do, what kind of market is good for each, and then again, one of the things Anthony said was totally correct. Then is consistency, and it's like all out massive action.
You have to go crazy.
Go crazy. Exactly. So you've got to do the massive action. And you'll be able to tell. You will be able to tell when it's all said and done who you should be following and who you shouldn't. But
awesome.
That's it. I'm done.
Thank you, Gail. And we have the awesome Coach Karen here. You haven't met her yet, Gail.
And I'm gonna jump off so somebody else can jump on. Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Coach Karen is so phenomenal. I love me some Coach Karen. Okay, so go ahead and she dropped some knowledge bombs, as the young guys say. As I just say, she has some wisdom that you all could hear. So go ahead, please, Coach Karen.
Well, I mean, you know, Gail, she just teed it up so beautifully. She was absolutely right. I think what happens is a lot of times we get swayed by this one says that one says that, but you've got to know your business first. And before you start dropping money, do some organic testing first. See what people are responding to, because a lot of times people are like, well, I'm just going to throw in some Facebook ads. And yes, you can put in a little bit of money at a time and test it, but why not test organically what you can get moving first if you're in any platform to see if your message is landing? Are you targeting well? Do you know your audience? That you could do that for free all day. And that's why I always say that the edge of doing offline in combination of online is that you can watch people's real world responses. You can, you know, see the body language, see when things are hitting. So if you take the time to go out and actually talk to people in person, you can get data like this. You know, sometimes on social media, you put something, you're like, I hope they like it. I hope they comment it. I hope they share it. But you don't know what people are thinking. When you have real life conversations, you know, Blab is a great platform for that. But beyond that, you're waiting and you're still trying to guess. So using social media as a complement to your efforts will make a world of difference and will actually save you money and effort.
Absolutely. See, I love it. Coach Karen is dead on it. You have to, if you have no presence online, you have to establish a presence. It's obvious, especially as a smaller business. And, you know, just jumping straight in, throwing ads up isn't going to help you because people still don't know who you are. So,
gosh, so true. So true.
You know, you have to build some type of presence, some type of thing where people can see, okay, that you didn't just hop on here to try to sell them. And that's unfortunately, even especially in social media, what people do. If you come in a room, it's like people are bad networkers in general. So social media is about networking, building relationships through a virtual format. So people run into somebody and they're like, hey, this is what I do. You should go buy my product right now because it's the best thing that's ever happened. And I'm like, man, all I know is your name is Kevin. What? Can we get some things established here first before I see 5,000 of your ads on my Facebook feed or on my Twitter feed? You know, can I get to know you?
Tell me about it. Yes.
You know, and Evangelos is a phenomenal social media guy. I hope he comes up. Craig, I would love for you to come up and say something too. But you know, this is why we're having this conversation here. You know, a lot of people that are in the newer age feel that social media is going to kill offline marketing. And I don't believe if you want to be hugely successful that you can have one without the other. You need them both in order to gain the success that you really truly want, no matter what it is you're doing. So
let me pose the question to you both, because obviously I'm one of those younger people that are definitely behind the whole social media movement. Let's say a company starts today, 2015, moving on to 16. If you had to give them a ratio like 80-20, 70-30, what would your advice be as far as offline and online? Because I will give you guys something. I backed up and said, okay, I admit that there are some offline tactics that will always work. But I'm going to stand my ground and say about, 80-20 online. The way that the world's moving today and the data kind of backs that up, that's my opinion. I want to get your opinion as far as if a company started right now, where would you guys give them advice as far as online versus online or offline versus online?
So my next question would be, what kind of company are you talking about specifically?
There you go. Okay. That's the very first question.
I could even go, let me see. I can go general and say, would you say that most companies, the way the world is changing today, are effective online? Most companies? That's a very general statement, but most companies, most marketplaces. Okay, let me see here. Obviously, the consulting industry is, you would say, online, right?
Yes, and
Well,
I mean,
well,
here's the thing.
I was going to say, go ahead, please.
Yeah,
That's
the thing. If you're talking about, you know what, I want to go and I want to sell products, and I'm gonna create some products, then you can sell products online all day. That makes sense because the social media does lend towards the selling products. But when you're selling people, if I'm a people-based business and I'm interfacing with people, it's only going to make my sales faster if they get to know me behind the business and then the business, right? And bring it on and leverage it with social media. So I think it's, if I'm an internet marketer and I'm doing niche marketing, I can do that in my pajamas all day. People never have to know who I am. But if you're building a brand around a person and that person's trying to bring their business, then you need to get to know the people in your community, and then you take it to social media. And the reason I say it's not that you can't build it fast on social media, but if I can get 10 clients in my backyard before I even step onto the computer, why am I going to take all this time trying to learn the platforms, trying to build a rush, when in my community, I'm like a boulder in a puddle. Whereas online, I'm a grain of sand in the ocean. So there's that opportunity to really be the center of the universe that people so want to be online, but you can be right in your backyard. So I think it's I think there's the complement. If they complement each other, you don't have to do one or the other.
That's what I was about to say. Now, if you're talking consulting businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Consulting, coaching, things of that nature. Look, and well, you know me, Anthony, pretty well, and a lot of these people in this room know my big mouth by now. But my thing always is, if you can't dominate where you live at, it doesn't matter about anything else. You have to be able to establish something at home. So I would say that you want to do online marketing in conjunction with the offline marketing. As you know, that I hadn't really been pushing online really until this year, as far as like coaching, consulting and stuff, because I've had clients locally. Why? But because I do the offline thing so well. And I came to online because I understand that's a segmentation that I'm missing. But you can't have one without the other if you want true growth. You can't just say, all right, I'm going 80% online and I'm going to throw 20% at offline and that's it. Okay, you're still limiting your income. If your purpose is you want to grow your business and grow your revenue, you need money from both directions, multiple streams. You don't want just one way of doing it. So my advice would be, what type of business are you doing? What type of coaching are you doing? Okay, first of all, if you're coaching, first thing I tell them, they need to go to SBA and Chamber of Commerce meetings right away, because that's where your clients are. Go to other events where people go that are looking for coaching. Go to personal development events. Mm-hmm. That's where your clients are. That's how you do it. That's how you do the offline marketing. Right. You go there. You don't be salesy. You introduce yourself. You have a conversation. Invite someone for coffee. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. See, that's how you grow the brand. You don't just go straight, all right, I'm going online and I'm going to put my face out there. That's great. I'm not saying ignore that. So my answer would always be, you want to balance them.
Right. But I wanted to jump on real quick because Anthony said something and I just remembered something. And Gerald, you're like obviously awesome-tacular, always. I was recently in I was taking an online course, kind of. I guess I don't know. I hate to call it a course, but anyway, it was an online workshop. Okay, it was like 4 days. We were all interacting. Okay, and our whole premise was to meet, connect, tell what we do, or ask questions, tell what we do, and make a sale. Okay, so I was in a conversation with this young lady. And it was a contest, right? We did a contest throughout the 4 or 5 days, who can make the most sales and all of that. Okay. I was in a conversation with a young lady who was a coach. I shared with her what I did. And so she started asking me questions. Well, it turned out at the end of the day, she was a high-level coach. She coached high-level peak performance people. Okay. And I'll say kind of like on the Anthony Robbins level, or probably a lot less than that, but you get what I mean. She was a high level performance coach. She said none of her clients are online. They don't want to be online. They don't want to be seen. Okay, because of who they are and what they do. They don't even want people to know that they're being coached by somebody, because they're these top level CEOs who, you know, since they're the boss, they don't want other people to think that they need to go get help. And so she said all of her business is done through word of mouth, and as Gerald said, through networking at particular niche, high level, peak performance type companies and businesses. And so those are the kind of, and it turned out she won the contest for that week. She had made like $50,000 in 5 days by sharing what she did and helping other people. It was about 80 of us, I think, on this platform. And so she had made $50,000 in 5 days because of what she does and how good she was at what she did. But she said she does not do internet marketing, and because her clients don't, because of who they are and what they do. So that is an example that she's a consultant. She doesn't do online. Her people don't do online, and everything is word of mouth and making connections and like that. In terms of marketing, I'm sure she meets with them online, some of them, you know, through Skype and, you know, things like that. But in terms of her marketing, she said she doesn't do it.
Well, I will say this, and I'm getting beat up on here, but it's okay.
It's not beating up.
It's not. It's really not.
I will say this, and I'll give two totally different examples. I'll give a very, very small person that no one's heard of, and I'll give a person that's doing some pretty good things. So the very small person is myself, right? You know, I've been doing this for 2 years, and then I have a consulting business, and you know, the way that I've designed my company, I have aspirations of being very, very substantial at some point. And be very frank with you, and Gerald knows this because I look up to Gerald. I've been very open and honest with him. I'm looking to transfer and do some offline stuff. So I respect offline. But my big thing was I've made the bulk of my money, and it's, you know, not millions, but I've been able to provide for myself strictly 100% online. Now, this is what I noticed. A lot of people in my industry are dominating locally. And when I explained to some of the things that I've done, I've worked with people in the Philippines, France, London, Paris, you know, all over the country. And, you know, I've made pretty good money doing it. And what I told them was, if you want to build a business around the world and make some big money and get your name throughout the entire country, again, if that's your goal, online is where it is. So then I'll go to a higher person. Grant Cardone, for example, he didn't start making the big bulk of his money. He didn't take that big jump until he transferred most of his energy from offline to online. And I researched him immensely. That was kind of the person I looked at a lot. And when he made that jump from offline to online, his network went from, I believe, a few million to now his portfolio is over 100 million. And now he's doing the exact same high performance coaching for people all around the world because of the social media presence, you know, because you guys know Grant, he's going crazy, you know. And so those are the two, you know, perspectives that I would say, if your goal is to have maximum growth, like throughout the world, not opposed to just in your community, I would have to try to hold my ground on that one.
Well, you know what?
No, that's what I was going to say.
I'm sorry, Gerald. I apologize. I think this is the only thing that, it's not that you're missing, but you need to kind of hear what the group has said.
Yeah.
We are not saying not be online. What we're saying is know your industry, know where your people are, and use a holistic approach. It's not really one versus the other. It's with a combination of the two. And depending on the industry, one way more heavily on offline than online, and the other one could be way more online than offline. So at the end of the day, we're all right.
May I also add this? I want you to study people like Grant Cardone's and really pay attention to what you notice. He started from a very foundational place of leveraging his offline community. Then when he had that at like a certain capacity, he expanded it and scaled with the online fuel. It was almost like jet fuel into his business.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
now he's still utilizing his offline world and still continuing to build his online, because he's still doing live events, he's still doing workshops, he's still doing. So if you're watching like these big guru types, the ones who are really having massive success and they're doing the multi-million-dollar launches and things of that nature, they all started offline, and then they used internet marketing skills to expand very largely online. But now you'll notice a lot of them are turning back into, or always doing, live events as well. So
Yes, ma'am.
it is that marriage of those, but don't ignore the fact that they were offline for about good 3 to 5 years before they actually were able to expand on internet marketing with internet
Yes, ma'am.
marketing. To that.
And the thing I would add is you have to look at also where the bulk of that portfolio has come from. A lot of his stuff is real estate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's not through online.
They don't know.
That's through face to face. That's through the people he knows. That's not online stuff.
His brand.
Yeah, no. Just wait a second. Just wait a second. I'm going to get there. That's exactly where I was going. Yeah. So the large part of his bulk of his money is the real estate. His branding. What Grant Cardone decided was he was going to make himself a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Only way he could do that because he had a TV deal that got canceled. If you know his whole story, they gave him a TV show. He got canceled. So he said, you know what? Social media is free. I'm going to make myself a star. And he took what money he had made from offline and dumped it in making himself a celebrity. He put videos up everywhere. He went Twitter crazy. He did Twitter like every 10 minutes. It was a Grant Cardone tweet. He went on Facebook and went bananas, and he went and told everybody, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. And if you keep saying it enough and people hear it enough, guess what they do? They believe it. And then he manufactured products so that people would take him home with them, because people still didn't know who the heck this guy was that was running his mouth. So he put out 3 or 4 books. And next thing you know, he has New York Times bestsellers. Why? Because all those people that followed him from offline and that came online now all buy his books. So now he's what? He's a celebrity. Now people really buy into what he's saying, which drives them to his coaching program. Well, actually, he takes very few coaching clients. He has more live events.
Yeah.
He wants you live with him. So he drives you to his live events. So you have to look at how he did that. His online presence was so that he could become a wasn't about making money.
No.
He wanted to be a star,
Right.
so that people, whenever he spoke, would want his stuff.
Right.
And now you see, I 10x everything. It's a Grant Cardone
Right.
thing. It's because they follow him,
Right.
and that's what he wanted.
Exactly.
It wasn't about the money for him; it was about a presence.
Right.
That's what he was after.
Right.
So,
All right.
And
I'm
that-
going because I know Evan wants to jump on.
I
So
gotta
peace
get
out, guys.
Drop
Okay,
mics,
cool.
boom.
Thank you.
Very Carol.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you guys.
All right.
And Jarrell, you know, I gotta run in a moment, but that's one thing I will. And me and you have talked about this, and we haven't really got to the nitty gritty of it yet. But that's one thing I will admit. I actually just got a gig up in Virginia every month. Actually today, so I definitely am big on driving and building your brand so that it can drive your business offline. I'm a huge component of that, but he built that brand up, international. He, in my opinion, he had the ability to start working with people all around the world and doing speaking events and things like that. So I'm gonna bow down to you and say that I definitely hear what you guys are saying, and I definitely agree. So yeah, thank you.
Cool. And now we have my man Evangelos. He is phenomenal with social media. I'm going to tell everybody in here, if you want to know some things, you guys should follow this man. He is excellent with the social media thing. So Evangelos, how are you this evening, bro?
Hi, Jared. Hi. I really didn't get your name. Sorry, I did not been listening in or just been
Anthony.
Anthony, hi, nice to meet you. Yeah, great. I mean, the topic really is interesting because of obviously social media itself is like is just extension of our day-to-day life now, so we can't really ignore that any longer as we are so active. But being in offline marketing is if you really have a product that's really beneficial, then by all means, offline marketing will work like charm. Basically, you can make decent living. If you are in nutritional markets, offline marketing is essential. That you need to take really good care of it till you actually make profit. Marketing offline versus offline marketing, I think, is just equal amount of effort. You need to put it in to sustain a birth level, like you said with Cardone story. I mean, everything is possible. So you just have to try, do your best as time or money allows you to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I completely agree with that. I don't think that you can go one way without the other, honestly, if you want to be as successful or maximize your income. You can't just say, all right, I'm doing all online, I'm never doing offline. Then you're cutting your own throat. You can never say, hey, I'm doing all offline and I'm never touching online. You're cutting your own throat. If you want to maximize your revenue, you need both.
Well, you're just leaving money on the table, basically, if you cutting offline through your whatever businesses you involved. If you're involved like some sort of network marketing, offline marketing essential, you got to meet a lot of people, so you have to prepare for you that you need to really get training on coaching in that subject alone to just get yourself prepared. What's like have to happen and beforehand you try. That's why a lot of courses sell so well. If you go to Udemy looking for this type of thing, find yourself a very reputable coach that's a lot of reviews and so on and so forth. Select one, just pay and get into their funnel and basically replicate their funnel. If you are a coach that coaches on Udemy selling $300,000 with a coach per year or $1 million per year, there are some people probably doing that on Udemy. Just sign up to their funnel and replicate it.
Absolutely. That's some great sage advice. You know, listen to some people that are being successful at it. My man Fred Oban, Fred Oban. There you go. See, I remembered. See, I corrected myself right away. Fred Oban, he is a phenomenal guy. You all need to follow this man. He has a lot of sage wisdom for us, and I'm waiting for him to fire away. He was firing away over there in the bullpen. So
well, it's easy to make comments from the cheap seats, you know.
Hi, Fred. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Evangelos. Nice to meet you too. Gerald, you're always too kind. Thank you very much. I find that people overcomplicate social media. And it's mostly because they have a tendency to get wound up in the tactics of it. Right? So before you start saying, what am I going to do on social media, get a grip on your comprehensive business strategy in the first place. There's no such thing as a social media strategy. You have a business strategy. You have a social media plan, which is going to enable those business objectives, as well as all the other influence things you're going to do, right? So when you lay out your strategy, everything from vision to mission and all the objectives that you have in between, then you start saying, how do I use certain media or mediums to convey the things that I'm going to do? How I'm going to make these mutually supporting. And that's in many ways is going to dictate what you're going to do on social media. In terms of where you're going to do it, it's always the basic question. Where are the people who can pay my rates? So Anthony was talking about consulting. Where are the people who can pay my rates? And if you're in the consulting business, frankly, you don't want to get out of bed for anything less than $3K a day. So if you're going to be in that kind of business, where are the people who can pay my rates residing? I'll tell you, they're probably not on Facebook publishing pictures of fuzzy kittens and stuff like that, but they're on LinkedIn. A lot of them are on Twitter. There's a lot of really great lists of the CEOs that are out on Twitter. And you're not trying to do stuff on Twitter to curry business. What you're trying to do is, to target those clients on the cognitive, and affective levels. The the three biggies in influence operations: how they think, what they believe in, and their emotional state. And if you can pluck one of those heartstrings, they will get interest for you. About half of my foreign stuff that I do now, and this is something that Anthony was talking about earlier, it comes from my Twitter account. Guys in Asia and guys in Arabia say, I like what you're saying. Let's meet on Skype, or let's meet on some other media. Let's talk a bit, and you use that as part of what I call the social media business mating dance. Okay, there's a mating dance that goes on, because you have to, you don't build trust at 140 characters at a time, but you build interest, and trust comes through interaction. And as you've ever done business in those parts of the world, you know it takes a long time to enable that trust. So I also tell people, if you're going to be on social media, first of all, it's one of many things. You don't do it at the expense of offline marketing. It just means you got to do more of this stuff, and you have to be judicious about where you put your time into it. When I look at a medium like this, and this is very young, but it's a harbinger of the future. You're going to be able to tweet something and immediately video link with somebody who likes what you had to say. And I think you'll be able to really speed up an awful lot of that interaction. Matter of fact, I just got another client in Singapore. I have to go there in December, which is a hell of a lot better than being in Ottawa in December. And this is based on someone who just liked what I said for about 6 months, tracked it, and said, would you like to come be a speaker in Singapore for a week? And I went, no job is too big, no fee is too big. Sure, yeah, I'll go to Singapore. But that took 6 months of patience and interest and enabling a degree of trust with the client. Where some people, I think, goof up, especially on some of the social media channels, is that they don't separate business from personal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure Evangelist has got a lot of examples of that, where I only use Twitter for business. If I post a news article, it's because it's something along the lines of the industry that I'm working with, or something along those things. Where a lot of people will put in their individual political commentary or stuff like that. Guys, one thing about social media, it's like any other form of leadership communication. Discipline, discipline, discipline. But every single word you put out there, because it will come back to haunt you. Sorry, I didn't mean to rant there.
Oh no rant. I love what you have to say, Fred. Always that was everything you said was spot on, and
absolutely.
I am dying to get on a Blab stream. Boomy says, waiting to get my camera set up. I tried to audio stream in the testing zone, but I think my audio device is not working properly or not installed. But soon. Okay,
we've all been there.
Yes, we all have.
Yeah, adding to that what Fred was just saying about people mixing business and personal stuff, they basically has no plan. It's just like it's just not functioning the way they try to actually do the social media marketing themselves. Obviously, personal sellings, if you're in a profession, you're already established as a doctor or established as a professor in the university, is different. But if you're an individual, try to do the marketing certain products online and mixing it with your social media, it doesn't work, because the people in social media, they just don't have that problem. What you try to represent at the time is just wrong connections, or like you say, is misplaced products, basically. A lot of it's without research. And what happens is, like, when I look through the Facebook's personal news feeds, a lot of them, this group spamming going on from all this, basically like as if like everybody's viral marketing to each other, the same products over and over, is nobody actually getting any results. They just like stuck in that loop and they can't get out. And I want to give a tip to people: if they want to really make the ads shown in Facebook go viral just through their own newsfeed, just simply watch what's actually trending on Facebook and looked what's the format that actually videos be done or ads be done, or if it's something interesting comedy or something whatever is amazing that's immediately attracts so many millions to click on. Just copy the similar format and just study a little bit and see how actually they got that situation to put it up front to you. Why is it amazing to click on it? So if you research that part, I think it'd be easier for you.
Right? Why
exactly.
Exactly. I mean, if you're not using social media for competitive intelligence, rest assured that your competitors are.
Absolutely.
And they'll have that edge long as you keep letting them have it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true. And we want to welcome Mr. Michael Brown. What's up, my brother Michael? How are you, man?
I'm awesome. I've been on for probably about close to an hour, but my dad was talking to me, so I had to kind of wait for that. I wanted to actually piggyback on a little bit of everything. So I like to know, it's always best to know once you're in a business starting, especially if you're brand new. And I'll kind of speak to people in my age bracket. I always, it's something you can't get away from, like pencil and paper. It's kind of necessary. There's something grassroots foundations. You can't get rid of it. Building a foundation with any type of marketing is necessary. And so feeling that you're going to get everything online because you're afraid to go outside and meet people is not going to help. That's how you sharpen your skills, by actually interacting. You can't sharpen it just kind of talking to yourself all day or staying behind a computer keyboard all day. At some point in time, I really don't care if all you're doing is selling stuff on Amazon to people. You're going to want someone to want to know why they should buy from you and not from somebody else. So knowing like who your actual, who your market is and where they are. I like the people that I focus on. I look to see what I'll kind of say my competitors, but because what I'm in is in technology, I follow various technology websites, and I see the stuff that they post. I see the places that they're on. They're on a little bit of everything. And I believe, like, your point, like, this is where your sales are, and everything from offline to online is supposed to just be able to funnel through. There shouldn't be I don't believe a one or the other, based on who you're dealing with. Like, most of the people that I'm talking to are business professionals. So LinkedIn, the Facebook or Twitter stuff is really for content, if you will, or posting something interesting to grab attention so that I'm able to then meet them. I prefer face-to-face or in a classroom, because then they can feel my energy. Doing something like this is great. Actually, this is almost taking the form of how, Google Hangouts was kind of like this. People were able to speak to large audiences. You can say, I'm going to talk about this thing. You are actually able to charge for people to come in and do the Google Hangout. And so just like, everything is still buggy in Google Hangout, I don't believe was designed for how we used it. It was more for just communication purposes, but people use it as a business platform. We're going to always find a way.
Plus you had to be a G+ user to use it.
Well, Google doesn't make stuff really easy at all. And to be fair, it's still buggy as all get out. They improve it with each time, but it's taken a while.
The beauty about this system, and I've mentioned it before in terms of this platform, is that
I will jump out and give somebody chances. Quite a few people here, Jared. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Evangelos.
You're welcome.
Great to see you, Evangelos. One of the things I really like about Blab, even though it's in beta version, it's got some bugs and there's a few crazy people on it and stuff like that. But you have to be judicious, like any other social media platform, about what you're going to do on it. But let's say, like in my business, I use Twitter to establish my character. I use LinkedIn to establish my bona fides. Okay, and that's where the two different things are. So yeah, whether you're using it as a hook or whatever, Twitter is something where you're starting to establish your character. The good thing about a lot of people do that, use Twitter as a character establishment platform. So if you've been careful about who your Twitter's followers are and who you follow back, and you've put an awful lot of work into it, when you join Blab, if any of them are on Blab, they automatically become your Blab follower. That's
Yeah.
Now, I don't know whether they did that on purpose or whether they planned it, but it was pretty damn clever. I almost get the idea. So I was talking to Dan Forbes earlier, and I said, "Gee, it would really be nice if you just had a Twitter stream here for a hashtag running at the same time." And I went, "I bet you they're working on that." I almost get an idea from looking at the Blab guys that their whole end state here is to sell this whole puppy to Twitter, and maybe you know what, nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But that in itself is very, very powerful. Whether people who pay the kind of money I'm looking for, well, frankly, I demand, are on Blab, remains to be seen. I'm here as more of a social experiment. I think in time, I can see guys like Peter Asatale, like president of Tangerine Bank, and guys like that who use social media very adroitly for their leadership communication. But also, they communicate to their company via Twitter, but for all else to see in terms of their principal leadership and corporate values and stuff like that. And these guys do walk the talk. So I could see guys like that using a medium like this very, very adroitly. I can also see the posers, and we've talked about this, Gerald, the mavens, the gurus, and the Eastas, and all the other, self-proclaimed graduates from the University of Google, also abusing a platform like this.
Absolutely.
And that's always going to be the danger. But you know what? That's a danger with any social media platform. It's always caveat emptor, right? Buyer beware. Oh.
Yep. See, the one thing about this though is that I saw, and I've only been on here a little more than 30 days now. All these experts and Eastas and self-labeled
gummy bear leadership guys.
Yes, yeah, the gummy bears, they are getting more exposed more quickly though, because people jump in. They have the hard questions. Can you help me with this question? And they give them the basic textbook thing because they don't have any experience in being able to help you transform your business, but they read about it, so they feel they can quote something to you, and then when the person quotes it back, they have nothing else to say. So
yes, that could be a plus. Absolutely. It could be a great way to get rid of the posers.
One of the things I noticed, so as a whole, webcasting, this video, this is still, I consider still new format, right? And there was one of the people that I'm getting a lot of information to from a webcasting standpoint is Mike Koenigs. He's been doing webcasting for a really, really long time. And I remember he made fun of one of the things that we're a part of. He made fun of how Periscope, which is still fairly new itself, has like over 50 million users. And then and he actually joked about it. But then I saw last week, he created a Periscope account and he now uses it. You have, this allows, it does two things. It allows the person who already has a credibility to expand. It also allows the baby person to kind of, I'll say, use to kind of sharpen their skills in a way too. They talk about a person who, what's that called? Person who has, I can have a little bit more understanding than you, and to you, I'm an expert. So it doesn't take a whole lot based on your level.
Expertise is subjective for many. Yes.
Right, right. And so for a person who they may not feel ready, you get that. Also, not to mention the fact that there are people who gain that level from interviewing those experts. So you have the baby person interview the expert. Everyone else comes in. I'm not a poser, right? I get it. So it does have, there's fake people with every industry, and then those, who did the legwork, who's out there every day, and then you have those people in between. So I think this is great. It allows people to get a certain amount of exposure.
I think the litmus test here, Michael, would be if you had a guy or a gal who is on Blab 24 hours a day and says they're an expert. Because the basic question would be, really? So what are you doing for a living?
Well, that was my question.
Right.
If you're on all the time,
Right.
I would do the rest.
But see, I mean, it all depends what your personal motivations are. I mean, frankly, I just joined Blab to overcome my natural shyness. So
and
sorry, that
mine
was heavy
too.
with sarcasm, but
Yeah,
dripping in
'cause
sarcasm.
I'm an extremely shy guy, so this platform for me is a chance to
people who
come out
read
of my
poetry
shell.
are not shy.
I know you, Harold. Wait a minute.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up.
I'm just saying.
Look at this. The lies you tell. What, Danielle?
What?
Danielle? You just hurt my heart. Oh my gosh, I'm crushed. I'm crushed. She just called me a liar. And Ava Laura, you going to co-sign that? Ava Laura, come on now. We're better than that. I'm a very shy guy.
This looks like your poetic entourage that is following you.
Yeah, apparently everybody can't be wrong.
Everybody usually, if everybody's doing something, you usually need to go the other way. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So
except for when that one person is denying what they're saying.
Right.
Hey, Brian says you can also use Blab to build awareness, interest, desire, and action towards what you do and who you help.
Yep.
That's true. Hey, Sherry's in the house. Sherry is awesome. 50 million Frenchmen say Gerald is not shy.
Well, I'm one of the 50 million because French is my original language, so I would agree with that.
Sherry, you just came in the door and you're gonna hammer me? I'm shy. You're not. I'm a shy guy. See, understand this.
Oh.
I may be shy. I understand, that because of the personality that most people see, they will not see me as shy. It's because in sales, a closed mouth does not get fed. I cannot be shy and feed my family. I cannot be shy and close a deal. So if I must be a little bit more open and energetic, then I have to, and I will do those things. So yes, and I can't come on here and talk to you guys like, oh, I'm so afraid to talk. So it's a different format. Everyone has some introvert and extrovert within them. I will just say that. And Ava Laura says, give it up. Approach in poetry, trust the voice. We do not see God, but we trust his word. I love that. I love that. Yes, we have a lot of passive entrepreneurs who make a big difference. Absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are shy. Grant Cardone is an introvert. If you ask him, he will tell you.
Douglas MacArthur was an introvert.
So exactly, just because
I'm more so than not.
Exactly, just because you see someone a certain way doesn't mean that that's not their natural thing. However, when in the business world, you have to become what you need to be in order to feed your family.
And introversion and extroversion are also subjective. Exactly. One person's introvert is another person's extrovert.
Touche.
Sherry said, "I love your life."
Or an extrovert does not say anything about your qualities as a human being, because you can be an introvert and have terrible, some people say, oh, well, introverts are generally more caring. And I'm no, actually, most serial killers are introverts. I mean, so it's, most mass murderers are extroverts. So I mean, being an introvert or an extrovert does not say anything about your character. So to say that introversion or extroversion says something about you as a human being is at best a prejudice, at its worst a cognitive shortcut, or maybe it's the other way around.
Well, you can say I wouldn't talk to someone necessarily right next to me in a plane, but if I hear a certain subject, I'm coming out. It's we speak about something in common, and it goes there. The personality. So you could be I'll say more shy, introvert, and not necessarily speak to a stranger. But when you're generally it's like when we're comfortable, or when we have to, the gloves come off.
Yeah, like the first time I met Michael, we just clicked.
Yeah,
and we
I was eating, so Me and food, yeah. We was at Cheesecake Factory. I couldn't help but be happy.
So exactly. So there was a natural thing, and we just talked. So introvert and extrovert was a big discussion on Blab with Roy Montero. Ross says, I was wondering if social media is damaging email open rates.
Email marketing, in my opinion, is not as effective. Text message marketing is more effective than email marketing is.
Yes.
And everything that I get personally is annoying, and I trash the majority of it. And thankfully, Google puts most of that in my spam folder on its own.
The biggest proponent for email marketing are marketing companies that charge money for it.
Yep.
Because I figure I'm a regular everyday guy. I'm like everybody else. My time is valuable. And if somebody starts sending me unsolicited emails about, well, especially about SEO guys are the worst for this. You just want to give them a hard smack. That may not be a metaphor. Most people just immediately go, mark as spam.
Right.
But a lot of these companies are charging people for that service. And actually, I think it does your business a disservice. I never do cold emails. I never do cold calls. My best referrals are other clients, and they go, hey, I'm watching what you've been doing on social media, or I like what you did with the wine industry or whatever. Hey, do you want to have a phone call? Do you want to go out for coffee? Best way to build or to engender trust for future business is to actually create a relationship in the first place. Call me old-fashioned.
Yeah,
that's great. Does anybody else? Evangelos is coming back. Evangelos has something to say about SEO. I think.
Oh no!
I think you struck a chord. Evangelos says, "Wait, I'm an ex-SEO guy."
I think I'm gonna get my fingers broken here.
I totally agree on being a SEO type of full type of thing, because we spam a lot of people. That's true. I do personally feel sorry for thousands of people that are spammed over the years, but that was how you have to hustle at the time. But now it's not like that. But with opt-in, we do ask people up front that if they are opting in for a membership site that if I'm personally running, that they have to be clear they signed up and everything clear, that they can read a small print. We don't have a small print like they normally do. And we really I personally never sold any of my list or hired to any another online marketing stuff. It just depends how ethically use it. I get only send an email maybe once a monthly to my membership site, active users. That is just if something new happening. If it's nothing new happening and they're not going to benefit, I really don't send email.
That's a very disciplined approach, Evangelos. Unfortunately, a lot of companies, I just didn't want to pick on the SEO guys. There's a lot of guys who do this who are very undisciplined in their targeting. And, they end up being, tarred with the same brush as all the other spammers.
That's true. I mean, I have I think about around 20 different membership websites. They are currently active and currently, around some of them got over 80,000 to 90,000 members in. Is what happens is with this member, they sign up, they have expectation of signing up. And when they have an expectation, you got to fill that expectation. Whatever they sign up to, they have to achieve that. Whatever is they involved. If it's training that they have to achieve the goals, we set up. If they don't, then we refund their money. Basically, we don't charge them through the education. And what happens is if I was selling a product that the product's, say, aromatherapy product, and thousands of users using that product, then what happens is I really don't want to spam these people. I just want to inform these people if I'm going to upgrade, if they're going to have a new offer, if something's new is adding to the product they're already using. So is what most marketers doing now. Really, online marketing is not dead, but subjective lines, what they put on is look more spammy than actually resolving the personal problems that they are on the list.
Yes, absolutely.
It's mainly online, make money online lists like this, but rest of them I don't think is like that. So that's my own experience. That's what I see.
Yeah. Now, I would say to the text message marketing, you get a higher open rate on text message marketing because people will always looking at their phone. But the challenge is that people are starting to spam that, but they do have to opt in. They have to opt in for email too. They don't even realize they're opting in for email. But the text message marketing is a form that is becoming way more prevalent, even more so than email now. It's going to supplant it probably in the next 12 months or so. It's going to exceed
that's
what
also
email marketing is
becoming
doing.
that's also becoming a bit more spammy, and people really don't like every 2 minutes that they get receive a notification from your list if you sign them up on SMS. And that is one of the major things when people stop and they unsubscribe or unfollow type thing. You know, try to resolve the problem instead of giving the people just spam as something that you're promoting. If you are getting an affiliates programs, to be honest, I wouldn't personally promote 100, maybe out of 1,000 product, I'll probably just choose one. And if that's problem resolving, if it's not, really just don't even waste your time on, because nobody going to actually buy it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It also depends on the nature of the thing that you're trying to selling, and whether you're going to go for an online, offline approach, or whether you're going to go for inbound, outbound marketing, whatever. For me, it's relatively simple. There's only 5 companies on the planet who do what we do. So, I mean, it's not a big separation for us. But if my product was different, then I would probably have to be a little more energetic in pounding the electronic streets, as it were.
Sure. I mean, imagine
I would have to get some
I was going to say, Michael. Michael is in that industry and the tech industry space altogether, but he definitely deals with the cell industry a lot. So what do you feel about the SMS, Michael?
So I know people who are not accustomed to it don't like it, and they're afraid. So you have the people who've been around longer, we'll just leave it at that, there's some it'll say that this text message you may get charged, right? And so they get nervous of that. There's so many scares out there. It's starting to, I know when I meet people, they don't like it. On top of the fact that now where we used to get solicitations via phone call, we're getting them through text message. On my T-Mobile phone, at least twice a week, I'm getting something from some random person from some random number that I have no idea about. So they get that too. You have no idea. So you really have to, I'll say, too much of anything is not good. You really have to know what you're doing. And you have to, I'm going to say, just, be aware of the type of message you put out. If someone opts in, if I opt into something and I get something every day, that's
aggravating. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm giving you this, and I'm going to go.
The biggest text SMS abuser for me is my own cell phone company.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Okay.
So TELUS sends me at least one text a day about what a great job they're doing for me as a service provider, and then I'm going, this is costing you money to do this. So
no, it's not.
Sherry just hit it on the head, though. Sherry, listen to this comment, and then you guys reply. Sherry just said people who did email badly are now doing SMS badly because they're hearing about the new technology and they're transferring it from one thing to the next. What do you guys feel about that?
Well, that's exactly happening on Blab right now. So if you not in this chat, of course, so you guys are all stalwart warriors. I love you. But if you looked at some of the subjects that people are discussing on Blab,
absolutely.
Blab notifications on. You see all the things coming up, like how to be a millionaire with social media, how to there's some real gummy bear leadership stuff going on.
The gummy bears. No gummy bears. Hey, man, we don't do gummy
We're going to have to do a gummy bear leadership blab in the near future, Gerald. But no. That's a term that Gerald invented, and I think it's great. But you're seeing a lot of these things out there, and there's people now, exploring this new media and figuring out new ways to abuse it. But also people who are also using it quite effectively. And just for everyone who's asking, gummy bear leadership is like, it's that brand of leadership which is colorful and it's exciting and it's sweet and it's amorphous and it probably melts in your pocket or it completely falls apart under any stress test. And you don't want to make a steady diet of it. Is that enough metaphors there, Gerald? Do you think for a poetry guy, did I hit it out of the park?
Yeah, you hit it out of the park. I mean, essentially, the gummy bear thing came from, gummy bears are sweet. They're colorful. Like you said, they're amorphous. You can play with them, and they're fun. But you can eat 10 pounds of them. They will never fill you up. There's no substance to it.
Yeah.
It's all sugary,
cotton
sweet
candy.
fluff.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot of stuff that's being put out there now, which is, really taking old school leadership principles, which, by the way, have not changed, and they're adding new.
Yeah, going back to the
and adding new things.
Brian, going back to the Brian's asking, they are effectively using for local companies using text to offer free drinks or food discounts if they are in a local with the text. Obviously, I give my hat to the local businesses if they already jumped onto the platforms to use it, because most of them scared to actually use this type of things, and it's pretty hard to actually sell this type of technologies. A lot of the local businesses, if you really don't follow up with them and teaching them how to use them, a lot of them really, they end up like.
That being said, I get behind the whole free drinks thing. If I got an SMS text message that said, "Show up at the Royal Oak Pub and you get a free pint," I'd probably go.
Exactly. So that's why my hat off to those guys who are using it. It's like, say, SMS will be a bit spammy first, but I mean, it's still in initial stages like everything else. But eventually, a lot of companies, laws are changing. When the laws change, what will happen? When we get actually changed roaming status between country to country, roaming charges change. The SMS marketing will be massively used. The gates will open. At the moment, still that's closed. So wait for that flood happen. That's will be next two big .com booms put together as we all go in mobile. So that is the big opportunity actually for a lot of online and offline markets, local businesses actually to capitalize on in the future.
Let me give you an example how powerful that is. I love Tim Hortons donuts. They're like Krispy Kreme donuts, but they're more unhealthy. And there is one Tim Hortons shop in Dubai. So whenever I go to Dubai, I immediately get an SMS text message from Tim Hortons saying, "Did you know at Sheikh Al Arif Avenue there's a Tim Hortons shop?" Not only that, I was 2 blocks away when I got it. I'm going, oh, wow. That's powerful. Because you know what? I was also really hungry and I actually did go and get an Arabian Tim Hortons coffee and donuts, which, by the way, they're not the same. But anyway, look, Gerald, I'm going to free up a seat here for you because I've dominated enough here. And my wife just came home from bridge anyway. So, but thank you very much for having me on again. And we have to do the Gummy Bear leadership thing sometime. And thank you very much, Michael. Very nice meeting you, Michael and Evangelos.
You too.
And, take care,
nice
guys.
To meet you. Yeah.
Man, always good having you, Fred, man.
Take care, Rev.
You do the same, Deacon.
Okay.
Take care.
Roger that, guys. Take care. Bye.
This coming question, I wanted to ask people in the who's watching if is anybody actually struggling to do offline marketing. What is actually they struggling with?
Wait a minute. Here comes Miss Sherry. Sherry is my girl. She has a lot to say. She fired away on me when she first came in the room, but I still love her though. She's still my girl. So she's coming through the space that we like to call cyber right now. So give her 1 second.
It's like teleporting, Star Trek time, Gerald.
Yeah, I know. It's like slow motion, like here she comes type of thing.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Sometimes webcams and connecting. I've had it one time out because I have Manicam and it blocked and it didn't allow me to come through.
Oh, Gerald, let me jump out. Maybe I'm causing issue.
You have to if you're using the browser, you may have to set your camera settings on the browser to make sure it comes through right.
All right, thanks, Evangelos. Appreciate it, man. Cool. So, and we got my man Dante getting ready to come up. Dante, I know he's got a lot to say too. My main man, Big DG. What's up, man?
What's up?
How you doing, brother?
Doing fine.
All right. So the conversation tonight, and we've been having a great one, is social media killing offline marketing?
Is social media killing offline marketing? We just actually, I'm in a leadership group, and we was actually having a conversation about something like this. Where's your headrest? I do have my headrest. It's over here. I need my headrest. There we go. No.
Everybody knows Dante.
No, laying down for a minute, So yeah, so it was kind of funny because we see it different ways. It just depends on the view. But social media is not killing offline marketing, believe it or not. You actually have a lot of people making a killing in the offline market space because they're reaching people that don't come online. You see what I'm saying? They're reaching people that don't come online, especially in the MLM world, right? The MLM world tend to attract older people, right? Older people that don't come online, that don't know anything about social media, but that will rather do face-to-face business, right? Talk to people and word of mouth, and that tends to spread like very, very quick. So it's not killing the offline market at all. Me personally, I tend to like to do online marketing. That's what I like to do. I love doing. I don't want to work, right? I'm just.
I don't want to work.
It resembles a job. I want to throw up. Like, I mean, like that's just me. It's like job work. If you give me a schedule, like, and this is kind of funny. They try to give me a schedule. I was like, that sounds too much like work. I'm not doing schedule. You can't give me a schedule. Like if you say schedule something, I don't even schedule blabs. Like, I can't schedule a blab. It just sounds like a job, like right. So I don't even schedule a blab. I don't schedule anything. It's like I do what I want to do when I want to. Right. So but what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I don't. The offline world is strong and powerful because you can build a stronger connection with people. The online world is for lazy people like me, where I can talk to them.
Right? For lazy people like me. I love this dude.
Know your strength and go with it.
This dude is funny. He's real though. He's just real. That's why I love him.
Just be honest. Like a lot of people be just lying and say, "Oh, I came online to help everybody out." No, you came online to be financially stable for yourself. And then all of a sudden you start to grow a relationship, and then you start to see another purpose online, right? But online helps you out to you can automate certain things. You can talk to more people in different states, different cities. You can create those relationships, and you can get people to join your business quicker. And you can automate stuff, whereas online you can't. So it just depends on what you like to do. If you like to talk to people, like public speaking and stuff. You like direct sales? That's up. You like passing out postcards? Thumbs up, right? You like you like doing house parties and meetings and hotel meetings. That's you, right? Like,
wait a minute, D, don't clown him, man.
No, don't get it twisted now. Don't get it twisted now. I do offline marketing too. I just don't like to do it, right? Okay. I ain't say that I didn't do it. Different. I ain't like to do it, but I do it, right? I got thousand postcards. You go on my Facebook, you see like my postcard, how it looks is awesome, brilliant, right? I don't like to do it. I'll do it. You know, I'm lazy, so like I said, like when I go to get my haircut, where I get my haircut every week, so I have next to the barbershop is a fitness place. I deal with the health and wellness space and weight loss space, so I go put postcards on their car windows and stuff, right? I'm that person that they hate, right? So I'll do that. And I go get my haircut, right? That's what
You're that person.
Yeah. I'm that guy. Hey, look, and the funny part about it, I got my picture there, so you know who it is. I got my
Okay, so if I see you crossing the street, you're in trouble.
Wow.
You're
That's serious.
You know, that's what I press on the gas, Dante.
And look, you won't know because you'll be in the gym and you'll see a postcard look like this.
That Dante ain't got these crazy, man.
But ultimately, it's only so much. Like offline market limits you a little bit, right? Because and the reason why I say that it limits you. It limits the average person. That's what I mean. Because the reason why I say it because a lot of people are not gonna come to house parties. A lot of people are not gonna come to these hotel meetings and stuff, right? Because they don't know who you are. If you don't have a name for yourself, ain't nobody coming. Ain't nobody coming. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody coming.
You're right.
Wait, tell me how you feel, bro.
It's funny. Slow down. Wait a second. We just got Sherry up here. I got to give my girl some time. Hey, Sherry.
I was having trouble getting on, and yeah, Dante, I'm coming just to run you over for my car. So yeah, you got one person coming, but evidently Blab is connecting a whole bunch of stuff because every time I tried to get on, it kept asking me, "Do you want to tell your 5,000 followers you're coming on?"
Oh yeah.
And first I said no. And then I couldn't share my mic. So the next time I
it's
said,
a setup.
I said, yeah. I still couldn't share the mic.
They try to get you.
So each time I had to log off and log back in just to get on.
Because they didn't believe you. They were like, why would you not want to share with your followers?
You don't want to share.
I said no the first time and I couldn't get on. I said yes the second time and I still couldn't get on. It's a trick question.
Exactly.
They needed confirmation. You had to say yes twice.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What happened was Blab got the message. Oh, you don't want to share? We ain't sharing you. That's what they said. Oh, now you want to come back and say you're going to share? No, you ain't sharing at all. Right. Walk back out and come back when you're ready to share.
Blab and Twitter got a little salty on that situation.
Now they let you in. See how it works?
It's so crazy. Like, it was the offline marketers like attack on the social media market. It's like a cold war.
And Dante, let me tell you, I have a stick so I can come at you real fast. All right. Back to the thing about, I don't know about other people, but, and I understand, like I said, because at one point, well, I still do some email marketing because I have a newsletter, but I started doing it, and some of the people in my little social group, see, some people look at what other people are doing and say, oh, if that person can do it, it must be easy, so I'll do it. They don't see, Michael, they don't see all the stuff that goes into it. And somebody else over here, I can't remember who it was, Brian McFarland said that they don't know copywriting and all of this. They just put some crap out there. And the thing that gets me is, if I didn't open the first email, why am I going to open the 10th email?
I'll explain.
I'm about to say, I know Dante got a response.
I'm about to Let me.
Okay. Oh Lord, Dante. Here we go. Oh Jesus. I
was going to. Dante has to say. So yeah.
The reason. Look, this is something that people don't understand. If you and this is something I believe in, right? Like 100%. Like, don't change. If you see something that works, right? You do that. You change stuff when you get.
I didn't open it, Dante. I didn't open it.
All right, so obviously that email title probably didn't work, right? That email title, and that's what it boils down to: the email title and how they created a relationship with you first, right? So if I created a video, right? Like, let's say, for instance, you looking at weight loss and you try to look on YouTube, all of a sudden you see an ad or something pop up. Like, hey, how's it going? I know you're looking to lose weight. Click on my link, right? And then I give you something for free. Look, I give you something for free, like a 30-day meal plan or something, right? Now I'll say, listen, and this is a video. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my list. Right below this is going to be a 30-day meal plan of how you can lose like 10 pounds in a month, right? Boom, go ahead and click on that as my gift to you. The next video or the next email that I send you, I'm going to give you this. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to open that email because I gave you something.
So you just provided information for when the email gets open. She's saying, I didn't open email number 1. So I'm not going to open email number 10. So apparently, so according to Dante, you got caught in their email testing phase. let me switch up the title and see which one you're going to like to open. The problem is, if I see it's from the same person, I'm sending you the spam plan.
You're going to the board.
That's the thing that gets me. Michael said it exactly.
I will convert you to block status, and you will continue to go to spam from that point forward.
And that's exactly what I do. I have my email set to exclusive.
Ooh, serious. He got up and walked around.
If you're not in my contact list, you go directly to spam, and I just sort of go through and so as my niece says it, delete.
Now, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to say one thing real quick. We've been going for 2 hours. I want to just take this off the record. I appreciate everybody coming through. We're going to end this because
I'm about to go to the gym
anyway. To watch this replay. But everybody gets to watch this replay.
Wait a minute.
You can only you can only see the after party on blab.im. So you have to come join us over here.
Wait a minute. Before we go, I've got to shout out to Brian McFarland. Lose 5 pounds in 5 days. I do that with gas. Before I came on, I was falling on the floor with some of the stuff. Like, he's changing his agency name to Gummy Bear.
I know. Brian is killing me and he can't come on live. And you guys that aren't here with us at blab.im, you have to join us next week, or actually on Wednesday. We'll be back Wednesday. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Come to blab.im, join the after party.